my name's Professor Chief, and welcome to Let's Draw. And the format of this video is pretty damn simple. All I'm really going to do is draw. There's going to be, sometimes there'll be a theme and sometimes there won't. Most of the time I draw what I want and what I feel like I want to draw for that day, and go from there. Now, these doodles will not be complete doodles. They will be what I deem them to be worthy of. If I want to do a complete doodle, I will. If I don't, I won't. Sometimes it'll be a sketch, but, you know, a sketch is a sketch. And we'll go from there. So, as you can see, there are two characters right now on screen. One on the left, his name is Zero. The one on the right, the female, that is Maria. They are my own personal characters that I have created, and they are gracing the screen because my iPad doesn't screen display doesn't stretch that far, so gotta fill it with something. And these two, you know, might as well put these two in, because if there's anything that describes me as an artist, it's these two characters, because it's all I ever draw. Now, as I've said about the format, I'm not going to do really anything different than how I would typically draw. So I'm just making sure I have the right pen. Just make sure the pen works fine. The pen works fine. Good. If you're wondering why I'm saying that, because I just went to go start the video and the pen wasn't working, so I had to plug it in to make sure it was connected. It's connected now. But before I start doodling, I'm just going to give you a brief history of my time as an artist. And it's real simple. I started drawing in middle school. It was kind of a therapy for my disability. I have a learning disability. At least I had one. I don't know if it's still there, but I had one. Let's just say I had. I had a learning disability going through school, and it severely affected both my speech and my handwriting. I couldn't hold a pencil properly, so when I started drawing, it helped strengthen, the muscles of my hand, allowed me to get better handwriting. My handwriting still sucks, but it's not as bad as it used to be. So, who am I going to draw? I'm not going to pick a character from any other media. I'm going to pick the guy on the left, Zero, because he's one of the characters I draw a lot, and it's a very easy, simple doodle. And because I like to practice my males and then do females and then do couple poses. I probably won't do couple poses, probably only do those on streaming on Picarto, because those can get pretty raunchy, so unless it's going to be one that's not going to have that raunchy nature to it. So without further ado, I'm going to get into this and come up with a pose. Now, the pose wise, I have a very simple pose in mind. It's a pose that I use a lot and that I've drawn a lot. It's probably the first pose that, one of the first poses that I've ever drawn. And I'm just double checking everything. This pose is really simple, and it's kind of like the basic of basics. You see how he's standing in that 45. Now with Zero, I have to draw him the other way if I want to put his right, because the left side he doesn't have an eye, and I cover his left side with his hair. So when I draw him, I typically draw his right eye, being the one facing the camera. So I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to do this real simple. Now, the one thing about my sketches that I've, learned is that you don't have to be terribly, terribly detailed at start. It's good at, how would I word this? For me, I used to do it very, I would focus on one detail, then move down, and then go from there. But for this, I'm not going to, for what I do now and how I do it now, because I can't say for this, because it's just the way I simply draw. I'm not drawing any differently than how I typically would. This is how I pretty much start. I lay out what pose I'm going to do, and it's just go from there. Do I want to do his hands clubbed together? Yeah, I might as well. Why not? I just make sure to get the pose, in its stick figure form. One thing I don't have a tendency to draw is his feet, because I hate drawing feet. I hate drawing hands too, but most of the time you can't get away with not drawing at least one hand or something. I mean, you can. I can get creative, but with him, when I don't draw, I very rarely draw him in the left. I see him in his chibi form. I actually got that chibi form from a book, that I think I need to do it. I need to actually do like a video just based on my media that I, the art media that I consume when I was younger and what I actually use now. I mean, I don't use any books anymore as often as I used to. Now it's a lot of, learning from going through, Pinterest or DeviantArt and, stumbling upon a, a tutorial or something. Now, one thing you might notice, if there's any mistakes, is let me just tell you now that I won't be able to fix them because this is a recording. So you're not going to get me able to fix them unless, until later. Now, mistakes are going to happen, and trust me, I'll probably wake up tomorrow, look at the doodle, and then see something wrong, and then I will regret that decision of making a video on it. But for him, and for this, because I draw him a lot and I know his body type, it's very easy to get everything I need on him. Now, the one thing I don't, one reason I'm drawing his clothing first, not like his eyes, is drawing his clothing first is kind of a big deal for me because his eyes, he only has one eye, so I'm not really going to be focused on drawing the other eye. But since he does wear that, I actually changed his outfit back because that's the outfit I've been drawing him for like years in. And then I changed it to like kind of like a Trunks inspired look. But I decided to go right back to the OG look that I had him in for so long. Because, I kind of miss drawing him in this look because it's kind of the look I associate him with. Now you might be wondering if you have trouble just looking at what the hell I'm doing. See, that's the thing about this, and why it's like it's always fun to like draw on somebody. It's like, how do you know what you're doing? It's like, oh, it's trial and error. But for me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys, this mess, you make sense of the mess because you're drawing it, so you already have an idea what they're doing. It's like, there we go. The good thing about this, I'm not going to like worry about indenting the paper, with my hand, or oiling up the surface. I do clean my tablet like religiously. Let me just do this because the muscle's gonna be right here. Yep. And let's put his belt buckle, simple belt buckle. Now that's the thing about this, that when I do doodle him, you always take it once. Now what I could do, because like there's a lot of blue, I could always just I'll switch over to like say a red, and with his facial details, I like to make his go a little bit smaller, less room and a little bit more clean. So when I draw his facial details, it's a little bit more inclined with his face, or in line with his face. So that way it's not taking up so much room and it makes more sense mentally, so I'm not, yelling at myself for why he looks the way he does. The one thing you might notice, I don't follow these guidelines a lot. Because, like, I've learned, like, my first art book was a How to Draw Manga book by Ben Dunn. And that's where I got a lot of my inspiration from, and a lot of my techniques I got from. I eventually started ditching these techniques as well. It's not because they're bad, it's just like I learned different things from different people and took that in. Now one thing I do I want to do is I want to give him a smirk. I want to give him a good smirk. It's a good smirk. Yeah, of course, I'm not going to leave it in this form where it's blue with a little bit of red. I'm gonna go over it with with my line art pencil and just give a good line art. Now, the reason I cover his eye is because he doesn't have an eye, so there's no point of drawing it or showing it unless you have to. Now, Zero, when I draw Zero, I have two simple things that tend to happen. Either Zero's gonna have messy hair or he's gonna have straight hair. Either or. It just depends on how I'm gonna draw him that day. At the moment, he's looking like he's having a mixture of both, a bad hair day and slightly clean. I'm just making sure any of the detail that I need I need when I go into the, you know, cleanup phase is there. Not too worried about side, side this right here. I kind of forget I don't have like the mouse cursor for you guys to look at. I have only, you only see the lines show up as I go. But, I kind of enjoy this thing. I mean, I got this thing a few months ago, the iPad, and it's kind of been like, it's been a lifesaver because I love drawing doodly, drawing doodly, sure, digitally. I like drawing digitally, and there's something about being able to just be as reckless as humanly possible, and knowing that you're not going to like have to go. I'm not going to ruin 7 sheets of paper while doodling just so I can get to one picture that especially also because I wasn't that good at coloring. Well, I'm technically not that much better at coloring to begin with, but I'm not good when it comes to coloring some. But I've learned that you don't have to be like, I'm not going to be like, what's the artist's name, Saki something, Saki Machan. I might have to edit this video and actually put a picture, one of her doodles up. You'll know her when you see it. It's the ones that does like these like very awesome high detailed doodles. She just recently got pestered by the Demon Slayer community about drawing the older version of Nisako, if I'm even saying that name right. But it's I don't plan on ever like trying to be that level because that would be kind of on the ridiculous side and being something I really don't really want to do, because I kind of like the easy, like simple nature of just being able to have simple black lines, that sort of thing. It's like a very easy to understand. There's nothing really complicated about it. It's something anybody can do. That's kind of been my roots. Is like I kind of enjoy simple. I love her art too. Her art's amazing. Trust me, I tried. I'm not gonna like turn into one of those people that like, kind of becomes like this almost copycat of her style. The uber realistic style. Like I'm not gonna say anything about the way she draws her bodies because I'm not any better. Trust me, when I draw Maria on in one of these videos, you'll end up seeing that when it comes to bodies, she's actually pretty damn tame when it comes to how she draws her damn bodies. Yes, because she's popular, everyone has to critique her, but the bodies, even though is she, or is it a he? I'm just gonna call her she because that's what I see everyone call, her. But I'm not gonna go try and be her. I would rather just have my own style, something that I enjoy doing, and honestly, I am more willing to learn. I would love to learn the body tech, like how she makes like the bodies, like the structure and that sort of. That's worth my sit down. Now the one thing I did, like I once actually did a Let's Draw a long time ago, and I managed to fuck it up. And I fucked it up by simply making it easier, so giving myself hotkeys. And then I managed to screw that up by simply going through and, repeatedly looking something up midstream, reference, that sort of thing, and then ended up screwing myself over because I just constantly, turn the stream on and off, and I'm not doing that. I am looking up a reference of him. Like the one thing with him is is like memory wise I remember a lot of these details. Like I remember always where to put his head, his angle of his face when he did certain things. But I want to make sure I put the right side where his the marks on his jacket go, because it's not really important to his character. It's not going to change the character anymore. It's just the aesthetics. You draw the same character for a while, you'd think it'd be simple. Like, wow, also his muscles in this. His muscles are too damn big down there. Because if this is here, this goes here, this goes here, it's not supposed to be here, here, here. So let's get that. That would be like the top, and the bottom, and the top, and the bottom. Okay. Yes, this isn't perfect, and yes, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people going, "Oh my god, what the fuck are you doing? Do you never any idea what you're doing?" I'm like, no, I tend not to. I'm the kind of artist that just flies by the seat of his pants. I draw the same 7 poses over and over again, and by God, do I get a lot of enjoyment from drawing the same poses over and over again. Now, let me just add his eyeball and rotate the screen. Also, another good thing about having an iPad is I can actually rotate the screen like a sketchbook. And I don't mean like this. I mean physically rotating the whole iPad. I'll have to make this a little bit better. And I hear somebody up. I'm pretty sure that's my dad. So thing goes mute for a second. That's probably why. That way you can still see me doodle and not have to worry about that. Do this. Because, you know, I don't do these videos at a good time. I always do them at like 1 in the morning because that's just, you know, that's a smart thing to do. But then again, I prefer it. Yeah, he looks fine. Okay. Now, I put this stuff is usually on the right side by default, but I moved it over because my hand keeps whacking it, so I just moved it over for sanity's sake. Now I'm gonna change pens. I'm definitely gonna do a video on what I use, like all the brushes. Like I haven't tried every single one of these brushes, but I have the names saved, and I will have to do a video on that. Let me just do that. This. Oop. Okay. Nope. 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 Yep. I need to get rid of this one. There we go. So now that's done. Oh shit! I just remembered something. You stop. And do this. And if I draw, because I used this brush when I did their line art, and the black lines on them, so I have to make sure it's the right size that I want for the proper effect. And just to be safe, I'm gonna just do one more thing. I'm just gonna dim this a tad bit. I'm using Y. It's just I want to be able to see it a little bit better, and I know I'll be able to see it, but it's just a precaution. Okay. Now let's see something. Yeah. Now let me see. Look back. Yeah, that's fine. And if you wonder why the line's so slow, because I turned stable. I have this. It's the stabilization on the pen is up to 50, so you know, creates for a better line. Even though I'm not being overly particular, it's just all. Like when I sketch like this, which I will switch in between doing, because you know sometimes your mind just doesn't want to decide what it's goddamn doing, so I just do both at the same time. You know, sometimes I'll do clean lines, or sometimes I'll do dirty lines, or very unclean lines. I'm like, it's very much a schizophrenic thing with my line art. I enjoy it. It gives character. Yeah, that or some people. I think it's just. Also, if you're wondering why, I don't know what the setting the person put on this brush, but I appreciate the fact that it's always, black. It's not dedicated by the line and the color of the. His eye's not right at all. I'm also resting my hand way too hard on the screen. Okay, 1 second. I have to get really close for this. The specific style that I draw his eye in, it's too slanted. It's not how I typically draw his eye. It's like, his eye needs to be very much The way I describe it, he has the villain eye, so he has a very small pupil. Because it's very much the, it's not a very shonen thing to have a character with, you know, well, unless you're Alucard, but, you know, he's getting this right because I'm picky. And you know, that idea when you just realize you're trying to erase something and you're not erasing it right? That's how I wonder. Am I drawing on the actual layers I'm supposed to? Okay, cool. I am. The curiosity. And nope, nope, yep. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna erase this guy. His whole head's right here. I'm just gonna do this. Also, because if you notice his eye is black, he has, you know, like where you typically have the white. I don't know how to really say it. I don't study the terms, but he doesn't have. I'm just gonna give him kind of these, not really angry eyes, but more of this. I want to give him this. His eye just looks like he's disinterested in what he's doing, what he's about to do. You know, could be doing something a hell of a lot more interesting. It's that kind of face where he's just like, yeah, I'm not really interested in what you're saying, but, you know, just keep saying it. Yes, because he has vampire teeth. Always remember to draw vampire teeth in. Now let's do this. Have a line there. And his chin. No line for his chin. Not perfect? Nope. Definitely not. That'd be way too much. Alright. I'm just gonna focus on everything else. I'll go back to his face towards the end. And if I go silent, yes, that's gonna happen. Now, so the only reason I'm actually doing actual live commentary as I draw is because, well, I'm not gonna take the risk of, you know, YouTube trying to copyright my stuff because I have music or something. I'm just gonna do it live. I'll talk the whole time while, you know, doodling, because that way, it's a little bit more personal, and you know, you get to hear from the artist as he, you know, doodles something, and either you get to hear my thought process or I ramble incoherently about how my day went. It's probably going to be that last one, because good God, if you come to me trying to look for advice on art, let me tell you, there are better artists out there that can probably give you better tips. Like, I can give you a tip. You know, stop over complicating it, because it's going to. Simple's a good thing. You don't have to be the most overcomplicated artist in the world. Trust me. It's definitely a hard thing to break, being like trying to get to be the most overly detailed artist in the world. I'm trying to remember not to press my hand into my iPad screen, because that'd be a shame. I like this thing, so I don't want to break it. I mean, I have an actual. The funny thing is, this is the only Apple product I own. I don't own any other Apple product. Yes, man, he's got some chubby ass fingers. Drawing hands is not my forte. Literally, it's the one thing if I had to get out drawing hands, I would. And I could have, but I decided to have his hand, his hand, be in his other one, fist clenched. So I'm pretty sure this isn't right, but make sense of it. I'm not over picky. I just like to doodle. I'm a doodler at heart. I love this stuff. kind of that thing, like, this thing why I'm rambling like an incoherent moron is because it's that trying to fill the airway with as much sound as humanly possible. I mean, at worst case scenario, you can just mute me and watch the video while also like listening to some music, which I would be listening to because I have Spotify and I would be listening to Spotify on here, but I don't want to be interrupted by an ad midway through a doodle, because then that just makes me want to go to Spotify, or at least in my MP3 player I can actually say, okay, I'm just going to listen to this one song where I have a playlist. Like I have on Spotify, I have a drawing playlist that I use. And it's not funny enough is it's all cover artists. So you have Jonathan Young's on there, Caleb Hiles, Emily. I'm gonna probably add Family Jewels, Richard Eber, Little V. I'm gonna add some more people to that list of my drawing list because good God, I just love good. When somebody elevates something to a to that such a degree to where it can almost be as memorable as the thing it came from. Is that if you're wondering why his his shoulder the sleeves aren't flapped up or they're all like flame, is because I got inspired by Spawn when I was first drawing this outfit, and it's kind of my tribute to Spawn is the way his sleeves act. They kind of flow like fire. You know how Spawn's cape flew. Oh God, I burped. But you know how Spawn's cape, reacted while he, it sits still in the wind. The way it flows, kind of like fire. Ooh. Nothing says good for your voice like Pepsi. Alright, let's see. Now, I'm just going to do this. Oh, no, wrong one. Wrong one. Okay. It's always good for you to just stop and take a look at what's there. That way you know. Especially when you go to color, you're not missing anything important. Because if you are, oof, tough luck. Shoulder's there, so that's there, so that's fine, because that's just going to be covered by his damn. It's covered by, so I'm just making sure. Not okay, he's like, make sure I'm not missing anything important. I have to do this for coloring's sake, because jacket's a different color in that spot, and that's how I probably should. This jacket's way too flowy on that one side, or way too puffed out. I am listening to it. One thing I do, if I wonder if anybody else does it, or is it just me. But have you ever like just taken like the audio for like, say when Goku went Super Saiyan 3, have you just like taken the audio to that and just listened to it, like gone through like YouTube, the MP3 converters on for YouTube videos, and then just listen to that all day? Because that's exactly what I do. That's all I enjoy listening to like the audio for like anime scenes. Like the one I'm listening to now is the United States of Smash. And I just enjoy that stuff. Like I have whenever like Dragon Ball Z comes out with a new one, it's like, ooh, I watch the episode, then I'm just like, I need the audio to that. I need it. I desire it. If I don't get it, it's gonna haunt my dreams. I wonder if I should make I'm gonna put his lip the other way, because his mouth is kind of hidden, so you don't get the full green. At that, point to that. Alright, it's just. Yeah, that's nice. There we go. It's a little better. So at least then you can actually see his, fucked up mouth. Because I also can't draw mouth because, I have At least not in this pose, because I don't draw this one. Typically when I draw his mouth, it's not like this. Typically just closed. Oh, it's full, like, Olive Garden smile. He doesn't have that. His nose isn't like. The thing is, like, you kind of trying to remember he's kind of adultish. He's not no, he's not technically he's not an adult. Technically he's more teenager at the moment, in his early 20s. By, you know, vampire agent scale. So he's not totally matured. It's just, you know, even if he was, he's a you know, he has the ability to shapeshift. So why the hell wouldn't you look matured? But you know, that's what makes it fun, because that's how I can describe why he looks like it. Looks like somebody had a stroke while drawing him. It's just transformation fucked up. My friends would get a kick out of that one. And then that means I just showed that dude has a weakness. Can't transform properly. Let's do that. Draw the X on his face. Then go through with the eraser and make it even smaller. Yeah. His eye would be right about there. Move his face right there, so that's present the scar around the eye, guys. Alright, I think that's almost done. Just add something there. Like, I'm not gonna color him. I think we'll save a coloring picture for down the road. I am gonna save him, because I would rather this video be quick, easy, and, well, as quick as 32 minutes can be. But yeah, that's it. That's all really all these Let's Draws can be. Now I will be doing other characters. I already getting some ideas of who I want to draw, but I am going to be drawing a lot of it's going to be drawing my characters, because I'm kind of impartial to my characters, so I draw them a lot. I will definitely be, you know, doing another video soon. Don't know when. It all depends on when I post this. It's definitely not going to be going up right after, you know, recording. But after that, you know, if you watch this video and you know me on DeviantArt, you know me on DeviantArt. I'm Walter666 Bonham. That's my, you know, DeviantArt page that I made in high school, and might as well keep it. No reason to change that name. You know, it's only outdated. But, you know, I thank you guys for watching. If you commented below, I will respond as soon as humanly possible. But as of now, the Let's Draw is going to conclude, and I do appreciate you guys watching. If you want to contact me on Twitter, I'm Walter Mr. X Bonham. I believe that is right. You can tell, because you'll definitely know it's me because of the profile picture. But go to Walter Mr. X Bonham. I'm at Walter Mr. X Bonham. So, you know, just go there, you know, come say hi, come, you know, send me a message. You know, I don't do I do requests, but they're very far in between, because I don't charge money. So I do the ones that, you know, make me feel, you know, make me really want to do them. So, you know, I'll do the ones that I really want to do, but I won't do any, you know, anything that I couldn't, you know, that's outside my purview. If, you know, if I want to learn how to do something, I'm gonna draw it with the 2 characters that I have. Other than that, guys, I thank you for watching, and hopefully I will be able to get you guys the next one coming up. Don't know when it'll be, but I will see you guys in the next Let's Draw, and I do appreciate you guys from watching. Later, my friends.